Hey everyone, hopefully you're having a good day. My name's Andy. My channel's Finding Value. Today we're going to do our daily technical analysis updated commodities, work our way through the dollar, yields, precious metals, and commodities ETFs that I follow. I'll interject my financial opinions as we go. And if you have any questions, check out finding-value.com, where I dive deeper into all of these topics on how to play the commodity bull market that's coming. I openly discuss a lot of the companies that I look at, and you can follow along what I am doing, my portfolio, and also what I am buying and selling. May Day is still a coupon code that is active if you're interested and want a discount. So let's dive in here. Let's take a look and see what the markets are telling us. So we're starting with the DXY, and again, I still think this looks pretty strong. I don't know why this one moved on me a little bit, but still think this looks pretty strong. I think we could potentially see the DXY go up. And I know some people think that a recession is coming. If that is the case, we would see yields drop. We would most likely see the dollar drop. But right now, that just doesn't sit well with me. This looks like it wants to go up. The reason I think that is we are sitting on top of support, that white line going across here. All the trading that's occurred at this level, there's a ton of support underneath this price. It makes me think that yields are going to go way up. I know that sounds weird. I know, for whatever reason, it looks to me that yields want to go up. We've got this big DXY candlestick on Friday, kind of solidifying that change of direction in the short term. Because I was really into the possibility of a slowdown, but Friday, that definitely is a kick to the nuts there for those in the recession camp. So I've kind of been holding steady, thinking that oil could potentially go higher, and the DXY and interest rates and oil are all tied together. I mean, if you were to look at this looks like an oil chart. That looks like an oil chart to me. And if oil does break out, I think we could see the DXY strengthen. So I changed my view. I just said, what if this is a three hump consolidation going up, and maybe we eventually get a break to the upside? Now, I don't know if that's the case. I'm just playing around with some charting and said maybe we've got a support level down here. Maybe we've got kind of a resistance level here, and maybe we break to the upside. And that I'm not calling for that. Some people, when I do these things, I'm just looking at it from different perspectives. And I draw lines across, and it's like, well, maybe this is a possibility. I'm not stating that is my opinion. I'm just stating it's a possibility. So this could be a possibility here on the 2-year, which would mean that the 2-year would go up eventually. If a recession does come, we very well could draw back down to this region down here, if that does eventually play out that way. So I'm watching it. We'll see what occurs. We've got the 10-year yield also looking quite strong. I drew it like this, where we might have another hit and maybe a pullback like that. Maybe it does something like that. Again, I don't know. We're playing around with some of this stuff, trying to see where these yields can go. And this is kind of the foundation of what everything gets priced off of, the 10-year yield. So we do have an inverted flag pattern, perhaps. Maybe it rips lower. Maybe we get support here and it comes and rips to the upside. Again, I don't know. We'll monitor it and continue to chart it out. The 30-year yield also doing something very similar to the 2-year and the 10-year. Is this kind of just consolidating? Are we going to get a break higher? I think a lot of this ties to oil. Almost like oil is, and I'll just throw this up here so you guys can see. This is oil priced over rates. You guys see any correlation here? Yeah, it looks like oil leads interest rates. Pull on back, pull on back. We had oil go up, rates go up. It looks very similar to this. And I'm in the camp that there's the possibility that oil could go higher here. So we'll see. TYX TNX ratio still highly inverted, and we inverted, we're still inverted, and we're holding that inversion for quite a long time, guys. I mean, we've been inverted here since March of 2022, going sideways. Now, a lot of those people who call for a recession, we would see an uninversion. And that is what we saw here. We'd see it uninvert, and the recession occurred over here. So it takes some time for that uninversion to kind of work its way through the system, so to speak. And right now, when looking at this doesn't make me think that a recession is just going to pop out of nowhere. That is me. We've got TLT, which is bond prices heading lower with the yields going on up. We hit our head on resistance there and heading a little bit lower. The 2 and 10 is still bouncing around at a very inverted level. This is all majorly inverted up here. Some people say, it's going to uninvert at some point. It's like, yeah, but we got to see it, and you don't have to try to guess. You just wait until it uninverts. When it starts to uninvert, the problems generally present themselves somewhere at this level and below. So you've got a little bit of time for that inversion to kind of work its way out and for everyone to kind of see it. So I'm not in the camp that a recession just poof comes out of nowhere. Usually you see money flows positioned in the 2-year, and this will dive down. And when we get to some level down here, that's when a potential crash or a increase of selling pressure could occur. Gold up a little bit, up $2 an ounce. We'll see where this thing goes. I think this could still go lower in the short term. We entered this here. We had a bear flag. We popped out of the bear flag, and this is basically an inverted bloody nose. So I think there still could be more downside. Silver's up a little bit today, 1.2%. We could still see a little bit more downside. There's good support in this region here. And that is where we could go. Now, here's the thing, guys. I don't trade the short term because silver and gold and all these things, they can really move in a short period of time, and they can turn on a dime. So we've broken the longer term big picture view pattern, which is this consolidation and the breakout there. I don't care about this retest move. I'm in it. I am not here trying to do the short term. Just want to make that completely and crystal clear. I am a massive bull in silver, gold, platinum, and those metals. Platinum's also up a little bit. Looks like we've got some downside selling pressure. That looks to me like it could continue lower. But this can turn on a dime. I'm not playing that, but I would, if it gets low enough down here, be a buyer of the physical metal. In platinum, we had our try here to try to break out, kind of came on back, and I'm looking for a higher low. Here's the lows stepping on up. I'm looking for a low somewhere in there. And then palladium down 1%, and we're back towards that support region. Palladium does trade a little bit different than platinum does, and I'm more of a bull in platinum than I am in palladium in the short term here. I think there could still be some selling pressure either through time going sideways or maybe slightly lower. XAU to gold ratio, we are up today, 0.77. We've broken that downtrend line. I have to remain bullish. We've broken the downtrend. So this is generally a good time to be looking because sometimes it trades sideways and no one's really looking, like everyone's disinterested in it. And then when the price moves, everyone becomes interested in it. They're just a bunch of price chasers. That's all the majority of humans are. And then they ask a bunch of questions. Well, why did it move? Why did it do this? How come of this? And it's like, guys, like the markets go up and down, and these cycles rotate between assets. Nobody gives that explanation. Looking at GDX, so we're up 1.5% today, and we're right at that support level, and we'll see if it holds. GDXJ also, I mean, this does have some momentum to the downside. This isn't a reversal candlestick, so we could still go lower. And SILJ, I think a lot of this ties to what yields are going to do. If yields continue up, sideways or lower. If yields were to drop, I think these are going to do well. Crude oil, ripping it. Absolutely ripping it. And I know some people in the comment section, well, my price target is $60 this year and, $30, next year. I don't know, guys. This doesn't look like a bearish chart to me. It looks very bullish. If that was the case, I would be looking at a chart that looks like this, and we're breaking to the downside. I would be ultra bearish here. Ultra bearish. And we just went through a housing market crash. This is what caused the housing market crash. This here is not this here. This here, in my opinion, is this here. We've got this coming. And it deals with the market conditions and it deals with where we're at in the real estate cycle. So I am of the view that this is a consolidation with a bullish engulfing that just showed up today and a bullish hammer candlestick that we got last week, where we could, depending on how we finish this week, break out of this pattern eventually. But if we finish this week strong, we'd be left with a bullish engulfing pattern, which is bullish if we can close in the vicinity of where we're at today. Now, if it keeps going up, it just means that we get a larger bullish engulfing candlestick. I don't know if that will be the case. We'll have to monitor it. We'll watch it. And if this does break out here at the $80-ish level and we close up there, I'm going to be freaking bullish, guys. Not that I aren't already, but like rates are going up. I mean, if we get this thing to rip, they're going to be going up. TTF gas up 4%, looking quite strong. Yeah, it looks strong there. And we got that nice stair-step pattern that we're getting generated to move on up. Surprised at how strong natural gas has been. Natural gas in America, 0.75% higher. And we're cutting through this support resistance line, which is now support. At a little bit of a consolidation there that we've broken to the upside. Bullish. Our boy XOP, yeah, you know me. Up today, 2.13%. We are at the neckline. And to me, on a monthly candlestick basis, still looks really good and the support level is holding. This looks pretty bullish if we can break out here. Pretty bullish. We'll see if we can do that. OIH also up quite a bit, bouncing off that support level. There's the support level that I've got drawn across. Up 2.8%. And let's hope that momentum can continue. We did have some strong selling pressure. Big red candlesticks all through here. Has that turned around yet? I don't know. I have to monitor it. See if it does. Now, does that change my opinion on energy service companies if this does dive a little bit lower? It does not. I would still remain bullish, and I'm still going to hold the companies I'm in. There's a lot of setups in energy service right now that look absolutely incredible. So I think by looking at the components that make up a lot of these energy service stocks, I think we're going higher. And that is what forms my opinion there. And hopefully we can break that downtrend line. Sprott Uranium Trust up 2.7%. Still a lot of downside momentum, guys. I gotta see some basing out here. We got to start chopping sideways soon. We do have a little bit of support going across. It's not a gag low, but a little bit of a pullback here. And we'll see if we can turn this thing around. Momentum still to the downside, unfortunately. URA doesn't look as bad as the Sprott Uranium Trust, but we do have downside momentum still. And that occurs across all of these. And this one's coming to a double support level. So this support level going across here and the horizontal going across. So we'll see if it holds here in the short term. And then URNJ also back within the pattern. We do have some downside momentum that we got to work off. So it might take a little bit of time. TAN up 2.87 looks good to go. To move on up, we're getting these big bullish engulfings. There's one here, one here. There's one here too. We saw some over here too. There's a couple around here that are also showing up. So there's some accumulation going on. This could break that resistance line and start working its way up on tan. Copper, we'll see if we can get a turn here. That could be considered a bullish piercing, bullish piercing pattern. We still have momentum that way though. We haven't worked the momentum off, and we'll see if we can get a little bit of a turn here or sideways action. COPX up 1.5. We're at that support level going through here, so maybe we'll get some support where we're at. Lithium putting in a bullish engulfing piercing candlestick here, here. So I would actually be looking to purchase potentially in an area like this. Now, I don't know the lithium sector as well as some of the other sectors, but it does kind of look like we're trying to put in a bottom here, and the lows are starting to come up. So might be a good time to be looking at some of the lithium stocks or equities. REMX, God, this is an ugly looking chart, guys. I don't like seeing a pattern like that is angled upward break to the downside. It still looks ugly. We got to see some green candlesticks show up. We need the green army to show up here. Otherwise, I'm going to remain bearish until that happens. S&P 500 up a little bit. Continues to work its way on up, surprisingly. And there we are, working its way on up. I do see a compression in these pullbacks. So that does not excite me, because what you can do is you can throw this up like this. And that compression means that we could be coming to a peak where we could fail and go lower. Is that going to be the case? They're going to have the plunge protection team continue to buy this? Is Federal Reserve just going to keep ripping? I don't know. We'll see. NASDAQ up a little bit as well. And still looks all right. It's hanging on. Still looks good at the moment to go up. The Russell 2000, not a bad candlestick. It looks like it's going to try to do some sort of reversal here. Maybe had a little bit higher, but again, we're towards the top of this level. We've got kind of this squeezing up occurring. So maybe we squeeze up more than what we have already. We've got KRE down. Anything that's interest rate sensitive, like these next few stocks, lithium, rare earth metals, gold, silver, they're coming under pressure with rates if they're going to go higher. So we could see these sell off. We could see them go sideways for a while, like regional bank ETF, down 1.5%. Emerging markets, it was up today, but again, we could see this go sideways with strong dollar, strong rates. XHB, actually, this looks pretty good. Nice big bullish engulfing today. We'll see if we can get some momentum to the upside here for XHB. And there's a lot of companies that look pretty good in terms of charting that are home builders. Moo down just a little bit, but I like it here, guys. I do. I like it down here. I like it because we're up against support. We've got this nice kind of consolidation that we're breaking out of. I like the contraction in the volatility, where I call this the dead period. You get these kind of like big moves, smaller move, and then you just kind of like buyers equal to sellers, and then you'll eventually work your way right at support. Work your way on up. Iron ore up 1.2% today. To me, it looks like we're putting in some sort of double bottom. There's the double bottom that we're going to try to put in, which is my guess. And we'll see if we can do that. Nickel down 2.5%. Surprising. This thing's still selling off a little bit, but I'm in the camp that, well, if rates go up, some of these base metals might get a little bit of a headwind here. Nickel is obviously one of those base metals, so we'll see what rates do. If rates continue higher, we could see this start to work its way sideways. Aluminum as well. We could start to see this work its way sideways and consolidate with those rates going up. And this does have some downside momentum in aluminum. So the base metals could do that, and copper's doing it as well. We've got the Baltic Dry Index working its way on up a little bit. That looks good. Still looks very good. I like seeing all of these support levels and not seeing a ton of selling pressure over here. Usually you get big selling pressure and you consolidate. And what I see is kind of a three hump consolidation, and then they squeeze up into the corner there that could potentially work its way on up. That's what I see. I don't even have to draw it on the chart. You can kind of just see it when you looked at these things long enough. Newcastle coal, I like it a lot down here. And we've got a breakout, a retest, and a broken downtrend line. I like it right where it's at. I like it. I like it a lot. Dumb and Dumber. I love it. There's your base, your breakout, and then the retest, in my opinion. And maybe a little bit more basing out before it rips, but it still looks good. I'd be looking. Bitcoin down just a little bit today. Um, hmm, Pretty weak bounce here, guys. Pretty weak bounce. We'll see where this goes, but I mean, it leaves the door open for some selling pressure if they want to enter here. Ethereum leaves the door. Not a big bounce here. So interesting. We'll see if there's some selling pressure if we can go lower here. If interest rates rocket to the upside and oil starts to move, that could very well be the case because interest rates are pricing a lot of this stuff, and super microcomputers still holding on. Still looks good. It still looks okay, but I don't know. The risk reward here, I'm not a big fan. And then Nvidia, oh my goodness, what's going on here? Big move with a huge wick. That is, I don't know. I don't know if it traded up there or if something happened with the split, but we'll see. Usually topping patterns have these big wicks, but we'll see. But it was slightly up today, and yeah, I wouldn't be here. The risk reward, the symmetry just doesn't exist. But we're up a little bit today, and Nvidia. So that's what I've got for today, guys. Give me a thumb up for the content. Subscribe to the channel. Subscribe to the website if you guys like. Mayday coupon code. We do have a midweek update coming up. That'd be Wednesday. And then we've got a question and answer session, which would be Sunday at 5 p.m. coming up during the weekend, which is a little ways off. So that's what we've got for today. We'll catch you next time. This is Finding Value.